Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to discuss why creating external stability allows us to put more tension on our target muscles. So for most of us in the gym when we're training, our goal is to put more tension on the muscles we are wishing to grow over time. For the vast majority of us, training balance isn't really what we're after. If building muscle is the goal, which would be the case for the vast majority of you watching, our goal should be to remove balance as a variable so it doesn't hold us back from building muscle. So an easy example of this would be a standing overhead press. If I was to do this on one leg, suddenly my ability to produce force is going to be greatly reduced. And then how much tension I can put on my shoulders and on my triceps is going to drop dramatically. Straight away, if I stand on 2 feet, balance is way less of an issue. And as a result, I can create heaps more tension on my target muscles. Balance isn't holding me back. So the group of exercises where balance tends to be the biggest issue is split squat variations. If you've done any variation of a split squat, whether that's a Bulgarian split squat, a lunge, or reverse lunge, you'll know that it's a bit of a factor here. It's something you have to take into consideration that may hold you back from progressing this exercise. If you're super new to training and you get in a regular split squats position and you're like a baby giraffe just with your body weight, there's probably some balance training that needs to be done there. You probably just need to improve the skill of split squatting. If you're not in this situation though, if you've trained for a while, we don't want to think about balance as something we want to improve. We want to stop it from holding us back from making progress. An easy way for us to do this is just to load it in a way that allows us to hold on to something. So we have 2 key ways we can go about this. We'll either use one dumbbell or we'll use an SSB bar. One dumbbell obviously gives us a free hand, so we can either hold on to a bench, a rack, a machine, a wall, anything. And as a result, as we're moving up and down in our split squat, this non-working hand that's not loaded with a dumbbell suddenly stops balance from being a problem. The same thing happens in an SSB squat. We can either use one hand to kind of hold and create some external stability, or we can use 2 hands. What happens now is as we get to the end of the set, it's our muscles that are giving out from making us have to finish the set, not us finishing the set because we're kind of falling all over the place and can't get quality, consistent reps out. Something we have to be aware of when we're placing this hand on a rack or on a wall or on a machine is to not actively pull ourselves up. We don't want our hands to be doing the work. We don't want to take the work away from our legs. We just want to have it there to help us balance, to make sure that we can keep pushing out reps and approach muscular failure. So when we're trying to create external stability with split squatting variations, what we want to make sure we don't do is start actually pulling our hands, as Jamie's demonstrating for us, and stopping our legs from doing the work. We don't want to pull ourselves up. We just want to have our hands there to create balance. So instead, what we're going to do is place our hand on the inside of the rack, on the back of our hand. This still gives us balance, but it stops us from taking the work away from our legs. Our legs are still doing the work. We're not pulling ourselves up with our hands. So what we've just gone through applies to all split squatting variations. Regular split squat, reverse lunge, Bulgarian split squat, you name it. If you do have access to an SSB squat, this is a great tool to allow you to create that external stability. If you don't, using a one dumbbell or one kettlebell and then holding onto a rack will help you achieve the same thing. So another example of some exercises where we can create external stability for ourselves is direct arm work. So whether that's bicep work, tricep work, or single joint shoulder work, we want to be able to lock ourselves in with our non-working arm to create the external stability just like we did with the split squats. So unlike with the split squats, we don't want to just lightly hold onto the pole or whatever it is we're holding onto. We want to kind of firmly grip it. This will help us squeeze out a few extra reps, particularly when working in those higher rep ranges. Unlike with the split squats, we don't need to worry about this other arm doing the work, because if I'm pulling onto this with my other arm, that's not going to actually extend my other arm. That can't happen. Versus with the split squats, I can pull myself up. So don't just lightly hold it, firmly grip it, really pull yourself into position, lock yourself in, and then allow yourself to get a few more reps out. So what we're trying to do here is replicate what machines kind of do for us. As an example, with the preacher curl, it kind of puts us into a position where we have a lot of external stability. We're sitting against a chair, our chest is up against the pad, our feet are on the floor. We've got multiple points of contact and it creates external stability for us. When we're standing in free space, whether it's with cables or with dumbbells, we don't have this. So we need to make sure we create it for ourselves to replicate the same feeling. If you do have access to machines, definitely use them. But if you don't, or you're doing a variation that doesn't involve a machine, you need to make sure you're doing it for yourself. So the final example we're going to run through is a shoulder press with heel reference. So lifting our feet up and actively pushing them into something, whether that's a dumbbell rack, a wall, or a rack, allows us to kind of lock ourselves into position, and the same idea as all the other examples, be able to bang out a few more reps because we've created some external stability. We're trying to replicate the feeling of a machine shoulder press, where usually we're locked into the bench behind us and we've got somewhere to put our feet up and kind of lock ourselves in. Just like with the single arm work, we don't want to just be lightly resting there. We want to be actively pushing our feet in with intent the whole time. It's a similar idea to leg drive in the bench press. Now, some people might be thinking, oh, is this kind of doing the work for you? Is this kind of like cheating the reps out? And this isn't the case, because similar with the direct arm work, we can't press with our legs. We can't actually get the weight up with our legs. But if we can create some consistent tension and lock ourselves into place, we're in a position where all of our force that we are producing can be going into lifting the dumbbells and not being spent trying to stop ourselves from moving around. A similar idea of this would be knee sleeves in a squat. They allow us to get a few more reps out. They do a bit of the work for us, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad or they're just stopping us from actually doing the work. If we can get a few more reps in, if it allows our legs to do more work, that's a good thing. In the same way with the heel reference, if it allows our shoulders and our arms to do more work, this is a positive for our training. The key point though is it's a static controlled tension. We're not like throwing our legs in every rep. We're not trying to throw our back into it. We're trying to create a nice stacked, rigid position and then from there pressing. We're not be like throwing ourselves around or throwing our back into it. So in summary, creating external stability allows us to put more tension on the target muscles. With split squats, use an SSB bar or one dumbbell and lightly hold on to the rack to stop balance from being a problem. With single arm variations, tightly grip onto the machine to lock yourself into place. And when you're doing shoulder presses, elevate your feet, actively push your feet into the dumbbell rack, and once again, lock yourself into position. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've taken something away from this video. If you liked the video, make sure you chuck us a like, give us a comment down below, and subscribe. And other than that, we'll catch you next time. Huh? Oh, I forgot it. Happy lifting.